Hey all, hope you're doing great. So today we're going to be looking at arithmetic operators in C++. Now in C++ or in any other programming language for that matter, whenever we're working with a program, we have certain data that we're working with, whether it's numerical or whether it's textual or whatever. And in most cases, you find that you might want to manipulate this data in some way. For example, if you have the grades of a student or the marks of a student, let's say, on 5 different tests, you might want to add these marks, or you might want to find the average of these marks. So these operations that you're performing, these manipulations that you're performing on the data that you're working with in your program, you're going to be performing these operations by using operators, by using arithmetic operators. And in this video, we are going to be studying 3 types of arithmetic operators: unary, binary, and tertiary. And I guess it's pretty clear from the name that we're talking about the number of operands over here. For example, a unary operator means that we're going to have only one operand, which is going to have the operator applied on it. And if we're talking about binary operators, then we're going to have 2 operands. If we're talking about tertiary operators, then we're going to have 3 operands. So let's go ahead and start with unary operators. There's quite a bunch of them that we are going to be looking at today. And the first one is the negation operator, which is basically, as is clear from the name, negating a number. So as you can see over here, we have 2 integers. We have integer x and integer a, which has been set to 5. If I were to go ahead and I were to print on the screen negation a, which basically means that you have this one operand a, and you're going to be applying the negation operator, the unary negation operator on it. And what you're going to be, if you go ahead and run that, what you're going to be seeing is that we are going to be getting -5, as you can see. So what happened was that unary operator applied on that integer a, and it gave us -5 instead of 5. Now we also have these operators, which are the increment or the decrement operators, and then, which is clear from the name, that an increment operator, you're going to be adding something, and in decrement operators, you're going to be subtracting something. However, this does tend to get a little bit tricky because we have these 2 different further subtypes. We have the pre-increment and pre-decrement operator, and then we have the post-increment and post-decrement operator, which obviously means that the increment is going to come behind the operand in increment, or the decrement is going to come behind the operator in the pre-increment or pre-decrement, and it's going to come in front of the operand if you're talking about post-increment or post-decrement. And I'm just going to give you an examples that you get what I'm talking about, and basically what the difference is between them. So if we're talking about the pre-increment and the pre-decrement operators, if we just go ahead and set x equals to plus a, basically, although we have an assignment operator over here, and although we have 2 operands x and a, when we're talking about the increment operator, it's only just applying to a. So it's a unary operator. I'm just assigning it to x so that you can basically, once I print x out on the screen, you can basically see what has happened in this pre-increment operator, or if you're talking about pre-decrement, what happens then. And then we're going to compare that to post. So as you can see, what happened was that when we did x equals to plus a, basically, because that was a pre-increment, what happened was that, first of all, before this whole expression x equals to plus a, before it went ahead and ran, what happened was that the plus, because it comes before the operand, it added 1. Basically, we're talking about incrementing and decrementing just one number. So it added 1 to that integer a, and then it went ahead and ran the expression x equals to plus a. So then when you went ahead and ran cout x, what was printed on the screen was 6. If we were talking about a post-increment operator, what would happen would be that if we went ahead and did x equals to a plus, this whole expression would run first, and then because plus is coming, because the increment operator is coming after the operand, what would happen would be that instead of x getting 6 in it, it would get 5, even though the integer a has been incremented, but it was incremented. So if you went ahead and did C out a over here, you would still get 6 because a has been incremented, but it was incremented post. It was incremented after your expression ran, after x was made equal to a. After that, a was incremented. So as you can see, a has been increased to 6, but x is still 5. And you can see this from if we did minus minus 2. If you do minus minus right now, you would see if we went ahead and ran this, that x would still be 5, even though a has been changed to 4. And if we did that same with, this was the post-decrement operator over here. If you did that same thing with the pre-decrement operator, you would see that both x and a would be changed because this operator is applying first to the operand, and then the whole expression is being executed. I think that should clear up what increment and decrement operators are for you, and basically what the negation operator is basically. So now we're going to move on to the binary operators, which are pretty simple. So let's go ahead and let's say we have int a equals to 5, and then let's say we have int b equals to 4 along with that. Binary operators are basically, they're just your plus, your minus, subtraction, addition, and then you have your division and your multiplication. And then you also have another operator, which is the modulus operator. That's also pretty easy. We're going to go ahead and go through these step by step. So first of all, let's talk about these are pretty simple, as you can tell from what I just told you, that if you go ahead and you put a plus b, or if you go ahead and you say, let's just end that line over here to make that clearer. And then if we went ahead and we subtracted these two, and then if we divided these two, actually, let's say that this is 8, just so that we can get whole numbers. We would get whole numbers the other way around too, but I'm going to explain that too in some other video. But let's just, for ease of, so that you can see the output and glean what's actually happening more easily at this level, at a more beginner level, let's go ahead and see for these two numbers. So the way you divide is by using this /, and the way that you multiply is by using an asterisk. And let's also, wait, no, let's do modulus operator after this. If you went ahead and ran that, you would see that these two numbers would be added by a plus b, so a plus 4 equals to 12. By a minus b, you'd get 8 minus 4 equals to 4. By dividing them, you'd get 8 divided by 4 equals to 2. And by multiplying them, you would get 8 into 4, which is equals to 32. So that's pretty simple. Binary operators are not really something you have to worry about. When it comes to the modulus operator, I guess you should pay a little bit more attention to this. Let's just go ahead and say the modulus operator is basically not a /, but the actual division symbol, the actual division symbol. If you went ahead and ran that, you'd see that this would give you, this would display 0 for you. And I am going to explain that to you in just a second. Yeah, so that explains 0. What the modulus operator does is it basically gives you the remainder of a division. So if you went ahead and divided 8 with 4, you'd see that 4 2s are 8, and the remainder would be 0. So the modulus operator is actually giving you the remainder of the division between the two operands that you fed into the expression. So if I were to go ahead and divide 8 with 5, and then I wanted to see the answer using the modulus operator, I would see that by dividing it with 5, I would get the remainder 3, because as you know, 5 1s are 5, and then 6, 7, 8, that's 3 left behind. So the remainder is 3. So when the modulus operator does this, it gives you the remainder of division between the two operands. That's it for binary operators. We're now going to move on to ternary operators, and there's going to be only one operator that we're going to study, and that is the tertiary operators. And the operator that we're going to study, the tertiary operator that we're going to study, is called the ternary operator. As I said, that unary means one operand, binary means two operands. And tertiary means three operands. So the ternary operator, which is a tertiary operator. I know the name is a little bit confusing. The names are a little bit confusing, but you'll get your head wrapped around that in just a minute. Basically, the syntax of this is that you first of all put a condition. For example, you say if 6 is greater than 5. You put a condition and then you put a question mark. So if this condition were to get true, you're going to do this. Whatever you write over here. For example, I say C out high. And then if this condition were to be false, I'm going to use a colon over here. So this has a condition and then the expression that you want to run if the condition gives you true, and these two are separated with a question mark. And then the second thing is the expression or whatever operation you want to perform if the condition were false. So I say that if 6 is greater, and these two are basically separated with a colon. So it's at the condition, question mark, the first expression that you want to run if the condition is true, then you have a colon, and then the second expression that you would run if the condition was false. So in this case, we know that 6 is greater than 5. So if we go ahead and run it, the first expression should be showing itself on the screen, should be being printed out, which is high. And if we take this to be false, for example, if we say if 6 is less than 5, which in this case is false, as we know. And so we'll, if we go ahead and run that, we'll see that the second expression has been run over here, has been executed over here, and that is hello. So I think that should clear it up for you what the ternary operator actually does. And that's it for today's video. Let me know if you have any questions.